This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm delighted to be joined by Blue Nose Adam Lopez, the Glendale Gatti as he's known. Adam, it's been a while. First and foremost, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Thank you.
That's good to hear. Now, look, last time we saw you in the ring, you had a points win against Jason Sanchez, majority decision. I stayed up. I watched the fight. Very exciting fight by all accounts. I'm sure you've had time to look back and reflect on it now. What do you make of your performance?
It wasn't my best performance. I started off a little slow, a little shaky, not really my normal self. But I had a conversation with myself during the fight in my own head, and I got back to what I'm best at, and I got back to what I usually do, and I took over the fight.
What were those inner thoughts that you were having to try and get yourself going? And what was Buddy sort of saying to you as well? I think I heard him at one point telling you to get behind the jab a bit more. What were those conversations that were going on?
Buddy he saw that I was this is the first fight I ever said I'm gonna knock this guy out. That was the first time I've ever said that. And Buddy, he could tell I was trying to force my shots in there. So he said, just get behind your jab. He's like, start landing your jab. And he knows once I start getting my jab working, everything else just flows off of it. Then my natural talent, my natural ability just comes out. So I had to calm myself down in my own head and say, stop worrying about landing these big shots and trying to hurt them. Just get back to what you're good at. Be quick, be smart, be smooth, and just let your natural ability take over. And I just had to kind of just calm myself down. I was very tense. I felt very tense in there. I was trying to force everything. And once I relaxed and I was like, all right, come on, Adam, you know what you're doing. Get back to what you're usually doing. And from that point on, I felt like I was just dancing in there.
That's something that Buddy's previously told me he used to have with Arturo Gatti. He's obviously remembered for the blood and guts and the war, but he said Gatti was a very underrated boxer, and he had to remind him of that at times. Do you think it was just an eagerness to impress, which is why you're so tense and looking for the stoppage?
Yeah, I was I knew Jason was a very tough opponent, and I wanted to just make a statement. I really wanted to make a statement like, hey, I'm here. I can knock people out too. But if I would have just started off how I was talking to myself, just relaxed, I think I would have got it. I think it would have came to me naturally. But it's a learning lesson, and that's what these fights are for.
Top Rank put on a lot of shows in the bubble, in the MGM Grand during the pandemic. You were on 2 of them. That's something I wanted to ask you about. Looking back and reflected on your experience in the bubble, what's it like, particularly on fight night when you're in there? How much can you hear around you, and do you pick up on? Can you hear the commentary? How much does it differ from a normal fight night scenario?
Yeah, definitely. When you're in there, you kind of hear the commentators in the back making little comments. You could hear your coach. You can hear your opponent's coach. It's definitely a weird atmosphere. It's not something you're used to when you're in a fight. In a fight, you're used to just hearing a lot of screaming and yelling, and you can kind of pick your coach's voice out of all that noise. Yeah, it's something you just got to get used to. My first fight, it was weird at first. Second fight, I was already knowing what to expect.
Now, you do have fight news. June 19th, Isaac Dogboe, brilliant fight. A lot of people getting very excited about this fight. When the fight was first put to you, what was your initial reaction? Were you jumping on that straight away?
Yeah, I was very excited. It was set for May 22nd on the Josh Taylor Ramirez card, but we had to push it back a little bit because they had only given us 5 weeks, and we're like, all right, we want a really good camp for Dogboe. He's a, we know he works very hard, so we're like, let's get a few more weeks for this fight. So I had already known about the fight since before May, and it was like, this is a great fight. These are the type of fights that excite me. These are the type of fights that get me up in the morning and want to train and just get better, because he's a good guy and he's a good champion. So I know I got to bring my A game plus, and this is the type of fight where I like to show out and be my best. I know he's going to bring the best out of me.
We always talk about timing in boxing. Coming off the Oscar Valdez fight, you've had 2 really good wins now, 2 competitive learning fights for yourself as well. Does this feel like the right time for this kind of fight?
This definitely feels like the right time. This definitely feels like, everything's starting to come together, on the business side, my personal life, getting everything squared away and getting ready for, the next level. It takes a lot. It takes a solid team around you. And I've been working hard, something I deserve. So it's definitely, the timing is right. The timing is right. I'm very excited for this fight.
Just before you spoke of Isaac very highly, it feels like he's been around forever. He's still only 26 years old. We've seen him in some very exciting world title fights. He had the 2 fights with Navarrete. I'm sure you watched plenty of him. What do you make of him as an opponent?
He's tough. He comes forward. He stays very low to the ground. He throws big wide shots. Yeah, I mean, he works very hard. I know him and his dad. His dad, who was training him most of his career, and now he's training with Barry Hunter. But his dad he works that kid. That kid got a crazy work ethic. I've seen it firsthand. Not a lot of people know. Isaac and I used to have the same manager when I first turned pro. So, like, I didn't know him too well. I just knew of him because he never really trained in the gym with us. But I just heard stories of him and his dad and how hard his dad was on him. And, look what it brought out. He's a great fighter. So, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure Buddy's seen plenty of him as well, and I'm sure he's sharing little bits with you during camp and working on certain things. Are we to expect a disciplined Adam Lopez? Can we expect this to catch fire at some point? What do you think we'll expect to see when you're in that ring?
Very disciplined. We're working on sticking to the game plan. Not getting caught up in his fight. We're gonna go out there and use my jab. That's what Buddy always wants. Stick to my jab. Set up everything off of that. We're not looking for the knockout. We're looking for points. We're looking to just put punches together and frustrate him. Frustrate him with my movement. Frustrate him with my feints, my jab, my long reach, and my speed. And if I end up hurting him down the line, then I end up hurting him and I get him out of there. But I'm looking to win the fight with whatever I got to do.
The victor of this fight is in a great spot on the world scene. Have you allowed yourself to think about what could be there for you if you are victorious on June 19th?
Yeah, man. I mean, prior to this fight, they kind of mentioned to us the winner is going to fight Conlon. And I was like, that's amazing. That's a huge, Dogboe to Conlon. That's a great route that I would love to take. But then I guess they went back to Conlon's camp and he kind of didn't want anything to do with it. So he kind of turned the fight down, kind of upsetting and, kind of lose a little respect towards a fighter like that who shies away from a fight like that. But it is what it is. Once my name is up there and I'm, in the rankings and, there's no way he could turn it down. But after this fight, whatever fight I got to take to get towards the world title, towards Navarrete, if he moves up, opens up the division, I'm willing to go wherever I got to go for whoever I got to get. I'm right there. I'm right there. I don't see why I shouldn't have a world title shot in the next fight or two.
Now, you mentioned Conlon there. It doesn't sound like that's an option that seems at all close to happening based off what you said. But we do have a few fighters over these neck of the woods. Conlon, obviously Irish, but then we've got the likes of Jazza Dickens and Kid Galahad is supposedly fighting for a vacant world title as well. Is it something that you've thought of? Would you be willing to come and travel over to my neck of the woods? Is it something you'd like to do, to fight in Britain?
Yeah, I would love to. I think it would be a cool experience. I've never really been outside of the country to fight. I've always been fighting in the U.S. and I know over there there's tremendous talent and there's great boxing fans and that's what the sport needs. The sport needs diehard fans and you got to connect with those fans and show them real fighters. You got to be willing to go travel across seas and go fight whoever they put in front of you. And yeah, that'd be a great experience. I would love to go check it out and make a trip out of it.
Well, Adam, I appreciate you've stopped by this morning to speak to me. So I'm going to leave the final word to yourself. June 19th, for those that are watching this interview that are going to tune in for the fight, what can they expect to see from Blue Nose?
You can expect the best Blue Nose to date, man. I'm very focused, very, very motivated. This is the most focused I've ever been in a fight. I'm very excited. I have a full training camp, so you're going to see the best Adam Lopez June 19th.